Hello, everyone. Wow, going to a screen that is not as updated as I thought it would be. Let me press that button real quick. Why do I
Oh,
not?
no.
The map selection is not actually showing the bands, and I'm not 1,000% sure why.
Oof.
Ba, 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 ba.
Good old technical difficulties.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a cast if there weren't some. There we go. So we do go ahead and have some bans that were in effect. We do have Alterac and Tomb of the Spider Queen being banned out by all middle-aged. LTK-Skyfall does go ahead and get rid of Sky Temple and Volskaya, and game number 1 will be on Battlefield of Eternity. That is the pick of LTK Skyfall, which means first pick and first ban will be on the side of all middle-aged. Let's go ahead and get into the draft.
Very nice. A quick catch up, and we've still got a solid 30 seconds until that first ban has to be locked in.
Yep, wanted to go ahead and get that through very, very, very quickly, because at the end of the day, like, people want to know that stuff, but at the same time, I've definitely gotten trapped in casts where we'll end up, like, going over the maps and the teams just aren't ready, and then you just have to fill space forever being like, well, this is a map with 2 lanes, and I kind of feel like at this point in the season, everyone's kind of familiar with the maps at a general sense. There's a limited amount of, like, new information we can really give about. Now, once the bans start coming out, which we are seeing them, we do have Varian being banned out first and foremost. A little bit of Training Wheels comp is not something we'll be seeing here.
Training wheels comp, huh?
That's what I said. I'm not taking it back.
Fair enough. Joe ban coming out from the side of LTK Skyfall.
So, Joe, definitely one of the more durable tanks in the game. That D being able to just shut down all kinds of, like, hard engage opportunities makes her very, very, very much a bulwark to get past. Her engage itself kind of relies on her ults, so, like, definitely not an overpowered tank anymore. Definitely was at the beginning of the season, but still a very, very worthwhile ban. Kel'Thuzad being taken out and Chromie, so we start off with tanks, and then we go into mages. Apparently that's the rotation. Are we gonna have, like, picks on rogues?
Very interesting couple of bans there. I'm guessing there must be some target picking there that they don't want to see.
Oh yeah, there just about has to be. Because yeah, like Kel'Thuzad and Chromie, like Chromie is okay, kind of good all around, but not necessarily like the do-all end-all on this map. I can see it, but KTZ is like, no, that is targeted. Someone on that team is really, really good.
KTC is a very unusual ban for this map. I've seen Chromie pull her weight in race. She does a surprising amount of race damage, and she can have a lot of map control, so she's handy to have. But yeah, the KTZ is a big surprise. But Greymane being picked up for first pick, not too unusual. Great race, great hero all around for this map in particular.
All right, both teams picking up their tank and their healer before the second ban phase. We have Anduin versus Rhaegar in terms of the healers, and Throw versus jump back coming in terms of the tanks.
Yeah, it's so far nothing too unusual here. Everyone's kind of opening with some fairly neutral picks here. Rhaegar's still in a pretty good place, even with a couple of those talent adjustments. Anduin's, as always, a very solid all-arounder healer. Doesn't really give away anything about your team comp because you can flex into a lot of different directions with it.
Now, what are your thoughts about the Lunara and the Zul'jin ban? Because obviously both of them are good, both of them offer pretty decent race, but I feel like in terms of race, both of them fall behind both Raynor and Vala, and in terms of, like, kill pressure, they're about the same, so I'm kind of surprised to see them banned specifically.
I think Lunara's been seeing a lot more play lately. She's fairly consistent damage. It's just not the greatest damage into an Anduin, which is a little odd. But she can give a really consistent slow to Garrosh, which kind of puts him in a bad way.
And then the pick on the Malthael, I'm presuming that Malthael will be an offlane Malthael, and I'm a bit surprised to see that picked in order to allow all random, all middle age to pick their offlaner into Malthael when you had the opportunity to pick last. and absolutely like guaranteed. Now, granted, the offlane isn't as important on this map because you only spend maybe a third of the time in the offlane. The rest of the time, you're actually like with the team contesting immortals.
There's certainly some validity to that. I think really when you're looking for an offlaner here, you want someone who's got a little bit of survivability, a little bit of race potentially, and enough power to deal with camps. And Malthael can definitely do that. He can play kind of safely, and you're not really playing to siege down the offlane per se. You're just kind of hanging in there for the long haul. And he does that pretty well.
This is also interesting because the pickup of the Phoenix, if they were assuming they were playing that the whole time, and I obviously don't know that, but assuming they were, Phoenix can also move to the offlane. They could put Malthael in the 4-man in case they did run into a like strong counter pick into Malthael. Because typically, someone that can bruise enough and get on top of Malthael is just going to lose to Phoenix because those ranged offlaners are so difficult.
The Phoenix is definitely a interesting pick here. I really want to see if they're planning on going Arsenal synergy on level 1, because if they do that, they can stack up a couple auto attacks on Murden and then fire off a big bomb, and that can actually give them the poke they need to actually get to that Leeming in the back line.
Oh my goodness! Okay, 1 second. For the first time since I started casting, the team names are too long to actually have the prediction. So, all random is one word now, just to get us within the slot. But coming into game number 1, on the Battlefield of Eternity, representing our blue team, we do have Skyflare coming in playing the Phoenix. Rano is going to be on the Garage. We have Nyx playing Anduin. Torkin, I'm going to do that the entire game, is going to be on Mephisto. And then up in the top lane, we do have Your Majesty playing Malthael. They are LTK-Skyfall.
And over on the right side of the map, in the red trunks, we have All Random All Middle-Aged, with Muffin Man on Rhaegar, Modus Trollin on Greymane, Juggerob on Muradin, Poppin' Fresh on Blaze, and Barbara on Leeming.
Oh my god, I am not going to stop thinking about the Johnny Depp trial with Muffin Man in this game. Oh, well, here comes Rono coming on the other side, going in and trying to throw. There's the throw onto Greymane, goes in and immediately gets stopped. Greymane trying to get out of there. Torkin is moving in, trying to get that extra damage. Does turn around, he hits Torkin a bit, and it looks like Modus is going to survive.
Yeah, very timely purge coming from the Rhaegar there. I'm pretty sure that's what saved Greymane and allowed him to wolf form and dive out.
Here's
Leeming getting caught up here. Rano throwing the Muradin away. Little disengage there. Meanwhile, in top lane, Poppin' Fresh is learning why it's a kind of a bad time playing a tank or a bruiser into Malthael.
Yeah, Malthael did, of course, about 2 or 3 patches ago, get that buff where every single one of his autos does, what is it, 2%? 4%?
Yes, they increase the amount of percentage damage on his passive trait. So he's always had that trait. It's just that they increased it again because they had previously decreased it quite a bit.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it may be 4%. But the thing to remember is when I say every auto, I don't really mean every auto. It's something like it does a % damage for 4 seconds. So if you attack within that 4 seconds, it just resets the counter back to 4 seconds. So if you attack twice in a row, it's not going to do 8% extra damage. It's going to do probably 5% because it'll just reset to 4 on the second auto. But still, it's a lot.
So the way Reaper's Mark, the trait works is you auto someone, it basically puts a dot on them for 4 seconds, and they lose 2% of their max health every second for that. So each time you refresh it, that's an extra 8% of someone's health that's going to tick down. Blaze is pretty well known for sustain in the offlane, but he isn't able to sustain that much damage.
Yeah, we do go ahead and have the camps we take a little bit of an earlier camp pickup by LTK-Skyfall. Right now the Immortals are being announced. Are they going to try for an invade here? Because that seems to be well, that is the Muradin.
I don't think they're going for an invade. It does look like they're a little too far away for that. Greymane getting this camp on right on time. Usually the go-to strategy is to get that camp out into lane at about the 12-second mark. As you can see in the bot lane right now, the camp from LTK has already been cleared before the Immortal has spawned.
Yep, That's why I thought they must be planning something because they got it much earlier than you typically do. Though it does look like Skyfall was in position to go and start the Immortal the second it started. Their opponents were not quite there, which does mean that well, actually I say that, and it looks very, very, very close.
I think this race is actually going over to the side of all random, all middle age. Li Ming and Greymane are a lot of race power. And right now LTK is being forced to defend. Both offlaners are off in the off lanes, which is a little surprising given that only one of them had a camp to clear.
There is the throw
big
onto
throw,
Barber.
Li Ming into the middle of the team. Purge letting them get out, but it's not enough. The Malthael goes in for the kill.
Yep, we do have Li Ming being first blood, the Bloodlust coming on the side of LTK-Skyfall, but the problem is, what can they do with it? Pop and Fresh already started moving from the side, trying to get this down. It does look like Skyflare's moving over in order to try and do his own variant of racing. Phoenix, not necessarily known for being able to race, but also not bad at it, just not one of the heroes you think of as being a good racer.
I think Phoenix has much better. Oh, Your Majesty taking a lot of damage here, getting the buddy toss out by Garrosh, and people are just being thrown left, right, and center. Murden, Blaze going down, Murden still in the thick of it, Li Ming throwing bombs, looking for that reset. Malthael goes down, Li Ming's got the reset, another orb comes out, just barely misses, but this first Immortal is going over to the side of all random, all middle-aged.
Yeah, we are going to have the Immortal. The Immortal has about maybe 15% shield, I would say. So maybe 20%. So it's certainly going to not get a whole lot of clear, but at the end of the day, we are level 7s both ways. Slight experience advantage on the side of LTK-Skyfall, owing primarily to that 2 kills they got as opposed to 1 on their opponents. And there's Rano. Rano has no fear. Goes in and throws Murder, but that is the thing about Murder. Murder just going to hop back out, though he has very, very little mana left.
Yeah, Murden eating that throw opens it up for Greymane to play a lot more aggressively and get a lot of siege here. Even hopping into wolf form into melee with a Garrosh, which is usually a big cardinal sin if you're at the enemy's wall.
One thing we should kind of think about that I hadn't is that although, yeah, Murden being able to eat those throws kind of makes Garrosh a little bit worthless, most of Murden's ability to do damage, and if you look, he did take heavy impact at level 7, which obviously enemies by Dwarf Toss are slowed, but as long as Garrosh is nearby, Murden really can't use his Dwarf Toss offensively, because the second he goes in, if he doesn't have it available, Greymane will just throw him even deeper, and he'll have absolutely no escape.
Well, it looks like Pop and Fresh is able to deal with Malthael a little bit better with the help of this camp, maybe.
Up top, Barber takes a good bit of damage. There is Juggernaut goes in, Phoenix goes in and has to teleport out. No answering throw. I guess that's the problem whenever your Phoenix is running for their life. You don't necessarily want to throw the Murden at them.
No. Juggernaut hopping in, getting that big slow onto the Garrosh. And he's going to be able to walk out. This team doesn't have a huge kit to really punish Murden super early, even if he uses that Dwarf Toss aggressively early game.
Now the question, of course, is going to be, is that going to change at level 10? Because we do have a Mephisto with the possibility of that AoE slow, or the AoE freeze, which may not be what you want to use against an isolated target, but it will keep Murden
Big stun, a lot of burst, and Mephisto goes down. Greymane was looking for the Garrosh there, but the Anduin pull probably saved their tank as well, and it does look like they're going to get this fort.
I was definitely watching the wrong thing. But we do have the fort going down against the might of all random, all middle age. They do now have their level 10 abilities: Ancestral Healing, Cursed Bullet, Avatar, Bunker Drop, and Wave of Force. Looks like we do have the direct, mostly direct exchange. Once again, we do have all random, all middle age just shredding this race phase. Though Skyfall does have their ults as well.
Interesting. Garrosh picking up the Decimate this game. Decimate going out, gets the slow on the Li Ming. Li Ming gets thrown in. Huge laser from Phoenix.
Yeah,
but it's not enough to get the kill.
Just about, we did have to have Ancestral used on Barber to keep them up. And a lot of damage. We do have Garrosh being traded out from Murden. However, here's Mephisto. Mephisto getting a Lightning Nova going around. But it looks like Your Majesty's not going to be around for very much longer. Barber is...
no. Little 3-for-3 trade there. Blaze is very healthy. Rhaegar, not so much. But Rhaegar should be able to just kind of walk away from this.
And then he walked away.
At this point, if I was Blaze, I'd be just going for a race right now. They've got the talents for it. They might as well play for that little bit of race that they can get. A little bit of shield gun here helps later if they don't win.
Yeah, we do have Rano coming in to arm the Blaze. Nice little bit of defense, but it looks like Jugger Rob has scared the Mephisto away. There's the Deathmate coming out onto Jugger Rob. Once again, the tanks at the front line taking a lot of damage. Poppin' Fresh does charge in, does not get immediately thrown, and there's the bunker coming down. There is the AoE stun, stopping people from getting into the bunker. A lot of damage goes through, but it looks like their Majesty is going to be the first one to go down. Rano very, very low, narrowly avoids that Arcane Orb.
Wei Ming trying to chase down this Phoenix, breaks the shield, but not able to get the kill. And it looks like All Random All Mid is doing a little bit of a recollect and tap here.
Alright, Poppin' Fresh is going in. We are back to the race, but here's the thing. Keep in mind, All Random All Middle Age does tend to win the race pretty hard, and they are about even. It looks like this is going to go down very, very quickly. And the second Immortal phase, oh, there's the Mean Bean coming out, but going to be slightly behind. However, there's a huge bit of damage on the Garrosh.
Fortunately, Garrosh did not have the rest of the team in position to kind of like hang out with him there and support. Ancestral going out on the Li Ming. Durance comes out, gets 2 roots. Jugger Rob's kind of in the middle of the enemy team. The Malthael ult comes out, and the Mephisto is able to pick up the finishing kill there.
The Mephisto up to 2 stacks on last ride so far. However, that is still a 2-for-1 trade in favor of All Random All Middle Age. Right now, it does look like LTK-Skyfall needs to move back and actually deal with this Immortal. I think that is Belith.
I couldn't tell you these Immortals' names. Half the time when I'm playing, I'll just call it Punisher and get yelled at by people, so...
I will tell you one of my absolute favorite lines on this map. Every once in a while, you know, especially when you're playing on the red side, you know, the Immortal will say something like, "The Angel could not stop me. None of you can." And I'm like, Mephisto is in the game, sir. He's one of the prime evils. I'm pretty sure he can stop you. I don't know the hierarchy of Diablo demons, but I'm pretty sure he outranks you.
I mean, to be fair though, Mephisto's got kind of garbage clear, so his race isn't that great until level 20, and even then it's kind of suspect, so like that Immortal's got a point. Durance goes out, and the big Duran whiffs, bullet onto Garrosh. Garrosh taking a ton of damage there, doesn't quite get the kill for the reset for the Li Ming. And Mephisto is just looking for whatever damage he can sneak in there. He is full Skull Missile build, so this is exciting.
Yeah, Mephisto coming out, doing the second most damage on his team, only beat out by Malthael because Malthael cheats. With this much beef, Malthael is just doing enormous amounts every time there's an extended team fight.
Malthael has just been auto-attacking this Blaze the entire game, and Poppin' Fresh is learning once again why it kind of sucks to play into Malthael as a Blaze.
Oh, here comes Rano.
A really good bunker there, saving him from the Malthael ult. For those of you who don't like bunker, please remember it can cleanse all kinds of dots and all kinds of deadly effects off of you by popping it.
Yeah, if you
Such as last rites.
If you are ever playing as Blaze and you see a Zul on the enemy team, bunker basically just completely nullifies that terrible poison nova.
I fight for the glory of the high heavens.
All right, once again, Skyfall moving in, but this time it does look like Skyfall has figured out and learned from what's happened before. Oh, here we do have a throw going in.
Rayman getting thrown in. Big laser comes out. Side of ARM is able to split around the laser just enough. Li Ming's getting pretty low. Ancestral comes out. Big stun on the Malthael. And it looks like ARM is able to disengage here. They've used almost all their buttons. On the side of LTK, they still have Durance and Light Bombs, so they can definitely re-engage here if they get a good choke happening.
They also still have Last Rites, which cannot be, like, it's a very, very big go ahead and win. I do have to say, I'm not sure that I love this pick of the laser, because they don't have anything to really keep people in the same place for an extended period of time. They don't have a Mosh, they don't have an Entomb, they don't have...
They have Duran, and look at that.
Okay, I guess they have. I just
Laser
have.
there, that would have been huge.
I guess I haven't seen the
Malfio's getting
Durance
pulled in.
used.
Garrosh taking a ton of damage and will go down, gives the reset. Juggerog goes down to the last rights. And ARAM having to disengage once again as they're losing a bunch of this wall to just the random damage coming out from all this AoE.
Alright, it does look like they're not actually racing at this point. We've got Your Majesty moving up here to try and stop this massive wave building up top. And it does look like LTK-Skyfall are moving back, but they're actually moving to a defensive position at the moment.
Greymaine's taking the top bruiser camp. Just doing Greymane things. If you can't race safely because the enemy team is defending, it's a good time to get some pressure on the map from macro with a camp.
Here is Barber doing Li Ming things. Sieging for a while. It looks like the full rotation up here to go ahead and just start building this down. As soon as they start seeing that health bar drop, yep, indeed, we do go and have the full move in. Juggerog is moving up into a dangerous area. I got the sheer rapidity of the race that comes out of random all middle age. Like, they were very, very, very late to get to the Blue Immortal, and they still won the halftime show.
Yep, and now the side of LTK Skyfall they still have that camp up top, so Your Majesty has to go deal with that. This is the time that ARAM could push pretty hard, but instead Blaze is down taking the bot camp, which is a little unusual.
Yeah, all that's really going to do is force someone to go down there, but that's the thing, as soon as they see someone dealing with it, that's when they can push in. Though at the same time, they gave up their opportunity to push in order to give themselves a later point to push in, which is a bit of a strange call.
Bit of a... You already knew that at least one person was missing, so you might as well just take the advantage here. Or just make a play for both the camps and force two people to go deal with them. Big stun on the Garrosh, bullet comes out, tons of damage onto the Garrosh. Durance goes out on Li Ming, and Li Ming gets blasted.
Yeah,
Ancestral does not heal a dead target, unfortunately.
Okay, we do go have Greymane going in and just eating the face off of a demon. Really, to be fair, Mephisto doesn't have very much like skin to eat, but I don't think Greymane cares.
Majesty getting a nice little pick on the Greymane there. The light bomb gave him enough shields to kind of survive this engage for a little bit longer. He does not have enough mana to really keep fighting this, otherwise I'd actually be very interested to see if he could turn this, given that there's two tanks and a Rhaegar there.
Yep,
Maybe with this new amount of mana he can do a little better, especially since he's Soul Collector at level 16, so he's got CDR on his queue.
Alright, but we're down to 5,000 on Ilariel. They're going to try and get another round of Beleth. Poppin' Fresh is moving back. Your Majesty right on top of them. Continuing, poor Poppin' Fresh, this entire game has just had this Angel of Death chasing him around.
Are you wiki searching these angel and demon names?
No.
Phoenix having to respond to the bottom camp. And once again, ARAM is in the position to just zerg this down up here. They get the race finished, and they can see that LTK is on this camp. Will they try and invade, though? Looks like they want it.
Yes, here comes Juggerog going over the wall. Charge in. There is the light bomb catches
Oh,
four
that's a
people.
big Durance.
Durance comes out, but no meme beam. That's what
I don't think they needed it that time. There's the meme beam, finishing the Muradin. Channeled for a very long time there. And unfortunately, due to that aggressive play, ARAM looks like they're going to be on the back foot for this Immortal. It's going to be able to be cleared pretty quickly and for free. Li Ming going down to the bot wave to deal with the camp that they tried to invade and steal, which has now gone over to the side of LTK.
They will have them moving in. It does look like the front wall is going to go down, but minimal damage to actually be done to the keep. However, at the end of the day, all forts are still alive on the side of all random all middle age.
Fallen, but he will rise again in time.
And just like Top Camp will be picked up by Your Majesty and company. I think it sounds like a band name. Your Majesty and the Wicked Throws.
I'd pay to see that band.
I would too.
Especially if their signature riff is... like that. I don't even know how you made that sound.
Yeah, I have a very. I'm not gonna say that. I almost said that I have a very talented throat, and then I decided not to. But then I said it anyway.
That would be a very interesting one. LTK getting a good bit of push here. They don't have the greatest siege comp, but they are in the power seat here. Unfortunately, Blaze is up on their bottom keep. He's got a camp behind him, and if they're not careful, they will lose this. This is full camp and a kata. Looks like Mephisto and Anduin are going to go deal with that.
And meanwhile, it does look like they are invading the other. No, I got confused about which team was which. Never mind.
Oof, that is a lot of siege damage on that bottom keep. So the bottom keep of LTK down at about a third health, only 7,000 health left on that structure. So anything that goes into the bottom lane, any amount of katas, is now going to be kind of a big threat.
We do have level 20 picked up on the side of all random. Farseer's Blessing, Gillian Roulette, or Gilnean Roulette, excuse me. Rewind, Fortified Bunker, and Repulsion.
Yep, fairly usual pickups. Light Bomb, Mimic. Oh, here we go. Big engage coming out here. Bunker goes down. This Blaze is kind of in the middle of nowhere. The Durance goes out. The Garrosh is on it. Beam comes out, but the Ancestral lands.
Second
And
Ancestral
look at
also
Ancestral.
lands. Man, they shoot through 2 Ancestrals, but we end up with a tank-for-tank trade-out. Here's Phoenix. Phoenix looking for a Barber. Does get underneath cannon fire, and here comes Jugger.
We're trading 1 for 1 here and 2 for 2. Which is actually in the favor of ARAM right now because they have camp pressure top. Malthael has to go deal with that, and this gives them another free race with the Greymane and Muradin, basically. All they have to do is make sure that they don't stand where those 2 lightning rings line up from the Mephisto, and they should be pretty safe into this, even if he's kind of chipping at them.
Yep, here comes Malthael from the side. This is going to make it an even fight once again. Root comes down.
Big Durant comes out. Last Right's getting huge amounts of value this game.
Yep, up to 7 stacks so far. So it is down at this point to like a 30-second cooldown, I think. 35. I did math.
Huzzah.
To quote Bahamut's stream, I did something today.
So right now, if I were the side of ARAM, I would be looking to do what they did before, remake the magic, get a camp in one of these lanes, and then go try and race. They've got plenty of siege pressure. It looks like Greymane's scouting out this top. He sees the racing happening. He sees that they're going to lose this Immortal. But if they have these camps pushing, they might be alright.
Yep, it does look like the demon will go down, and for the first time this game, the angelic Ilariel is going to be the one coming out. I'm going to say their name every time I can now.
Just rubbing it in, huh?
It actually came back to probably at the beginning of last season. Was talking to Kai Berries, and she was like, yeah, the mark that you cast too much is when you actually know the names of the angel and the demon on this map, and so I learned them.
Oh no. Muradin hopping in, hopping out. Durance comes out. He's in the meme beam. Garrosh goes in. Kind of an awkward exchange there. Light Bomb lands. Poppin' fresh. Taking a bunch of damage, but he's tanky enough to survive. Manages to shove his way out, and Ancestral comes out on Juggerob.
So yeah, minimal damage, actually, minimal lasting damage done to ARAM, but at the same time, they have not really done damage to their opponents, and the Angels coming in, they've gone through the fort, they are at the wall of the keep, and have gone through that.
Yeah, right now their best course of action is just to put as much damage into that Mephisto as possible when he dives in, and just get as much siege on this Angel as they can.
Angel is down to
Cool.
about 20%. A lot of damage to go and have Garrosh just about to go down, but no, it is Greymane that goes down first. There's a charge for Pop and Fresh, but very, very nice sidestep from Torkin. Juggerop in the middle does go ahead and Dwarf Hop out, down to about 500 health, but does get back to the safe zone. However, the core is falling. The core is down to 30%.
I think this is going over to the side, and it does. LTK managing to get a win off of just one objective.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's what we end up saying this a lot about this map, but all you really need is to be able to beat your opponent at the late game. All the stuff that happens before primes you, gets you set up, and we kind of saw that was what's happening. All random kept going, doing something, putting a little bit of pressure, and then moving in when their opponents were not quite together. Whenever someone had to peel off to go deal with something, but as soon as they lost a heads-up even fight, just the push and the push and the push happened.
Mm-hmm. LTK definitely playing a very late game comp as well, especially once Malthael had plenty of stacks on last rites, and Mephisto. Once Mephisto gets Mimic at level 20, he's a massive threat, no matter what build he is. So, kind of an unusual Mephisto talent choice on the 16 for going for a skull missile. Usually what I see is you see the exploding skull missile where you throw a skull missile, it hits one of your rings and it explodes. Because when you pair it with Mimic, you can actually get the skull missile to explode multiple times, and that can just delete an entire team in kind of one shot.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if that is due to the kind of the combo that they looked like they were going for, but they never really got off, between getting the entire team caught inside the Durance of Hate and then just the double Lightning Nova plus the Meme Beam coming through. But we never really saw that materialize.
I think it did a couple times. I think another option could have been just taking the upgraded Durance, which would have traded a lot more damage. But if they really wanted to go in hard on the Phoenix Meme Beam combo, then that probably would have been the choice. But thankfully, it looks like they didn't, and they kind of invested themselves on the Mephisto damage a little bit more.
Oh, 100%. So we will be back for game number 2 in just a second. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick step away so that we can get the ever important actual like liquid in our throat. And we'll see you in just a moment. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome out to game number 2 with the best game, or the best map in Heroes of the Storm. I'm the only one that thinks so, but I'm always going to say it.
Personally, I'm a big fan of Warhead of all things.
Oh, are you serious? Are you memeing?
I'm very serious. I love that map. All you have to do is push top and win. Just take boss once and you win. It's easy. Get 2 nukes, nuke top fort, take the boss, and win. 12-minute games. Easy.
Yeah,
I've never played Nazebo so many times and not been anywhere near stacking my quest because, hey, we're only level 13, but it's over now.
So we do go ahead and have Kel'Thuzad banned out. I almost said...
They really don't like that KTZ.
Yep, and it's interesting because Mephisto was playing on the other side, so it's not a... you kind of expect a KTZ player will also be really good at Mephisto, but that's not what we see.
Not necessarily. I think those are 2 fairly different heroes.
They're both bone wizards. What do you want from me?
I mean, one is about moving yourself properly, and the other one's about moving other people properly, so it's kind of a different mindset, I'd say.
This is the top-tier tactical analysis from Raka. Both bone wizards, same character. Let's go. Next.
A big yikes from me. It's a big yikes.
Next, we'll talk about how Vala, Tyrande, and Sylvanas are the same hero because they're just bow girls.
Yeah, they all use bows, therefore they are the same hero. Makes sense to me. Actually, Vala is just 2 Tyrandas put together because she has 2 hand crossbows, so,
Very much so. So you have
Kakarot picking up the Murden once again. It does look like the score might be backwards.
Well, that is someone's fault. That is clearly not me because I'm perfect. Clearly, I'll yell at production, which is totally different than me.
It looks like we might be looking at a fairly similar opening here, just losing the Greymane first pick, which is not too unusual given this map.
All right, we do have Leoric coming out very, very early, getting that in before the ban phase. So while the tank and the healer are locked in on the side of Skyfall, we do have the opportunity for a healer ban, though there hasn't been as much healer priority in terms of the bans thus far. So you have a more limited ability to actually restrict your opponents.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting seeing kind of an even split on these bans so far. We've got 1 tank, 1 mage, and 1 auto attacker on the side of LTK-Skyfall, both games. And then on the side of ARAM, let's see what we get for our 3rd ban, but I see 1 mage, 1 probably tank, and...
We'll have to see in just a second.
Jazz hands? Is it an auto attacker?
It is not. They decided that Malfield
not.
got entirely too much value last time. That made Proper Fresh being like, do not make me do this again.
I mean, to be fair, if you're going to pick bruisers in your off lane, you don't want to see Malthael. So this is very understandable. Leo doesn't suffer quite as bad into Malthael at certain points in the game here as Blaze does, but it's still just a miserable matchup, especially on this map.
Yep. There's no bruiser I like going into Malthael with, except for possibly Rexar, because Malthael just has such a hard time actually getting to Rexar. You almost play it as if you're Raynor.
Yeah.
Raynor, but your Banshee can stun.
You can mean your bear she. Your she bear. Boom.
That was good.
Boom.
Good. I appreciate that. Ooh, interesting thrall as well. Ragnaros going to be the offlaner. Ragnaros is interesting on this map in that it definitely does help defend against the Zerg between the trait and also being able to lava wave the support out of that lane. But to me, I feel like Ragnaros really struggles to actually beat Leoric. So you're not really taking that in order to win the lane. You're just taking that to make your losses less.
I think the Ragnaros is probably fine here. The Phoenix Mephisto pickup again is another unusual combo here. Because once again, they've very much limited themselves on the amount of lockdown they have and follow-up CC for the Garrosh. And they don't really have super heavy burst early game. They have damage, but it's a little sustainy. So I don't foresee them really killing Leoric too often, which Ragnaros can probably trade into.
Yeah, that's very true, and something we can look forward. Going into the game right now, if you're listening to me say this, then you will be able to go ahead and bet in the prediction. A lot of people made money off of LTK last time. We'll see if that will repeat
Wait, you can
itself.
make money? I thought you could only make points.
Points are some currency somewhere.
We're peddling channel points here.
Actually,
All right,
can you even redeem them for anything?
No, it's just... I mean, you can, like, depending on what people have for their bonuses, you can redeem them for things to happen on the stream.
Yeah, I was just wondering
I don't
if
even know
NGS had
what's...
set anything up for this channel, because like there's a lot of cool stuff on my channel, but I don't
There's
control
sub
the NGS.
emotes. Send a message, choose an emote, and modify a single emote. There you go. Those are your
Fantastic.
rewards.
But coming into the game right now, we do have LTK-Skyfall, winners of game number 1, coming in on the blue side. They are riding down to the bottom lane. Nyx is going to be on the Anduin. Rana once again on Garrosh. Torquin is going to be on Mephisto. Skyflare coming out once again on that Phoenix. And we do have Your Majesty squaring off against a bunch of enemies up in the top lane right now.
Meanwhile, on the right side in the red trunks, we have All Random All Middle Aged with Muffin Man on Rhaegar, Juggerop on Murden, Poppin' Fresh on Leo, Barber on Thrall, and Modus Trollin on Raynor.
How annoyed must you be as Majesty because you didn't take the Shifting Meteor quest at 1 to hit people with that meteor, and then all of a sudden there's 4 people that you could just like hit all of them with? Like,
Just
you'd be done
immediately
with it
get
by
quest
now?
completion. I mean, I don't know. I think I'd look at the siege and say, you know what, I'm okay with this. They might take my wall, but as long as he doesn't get interrupted on his trait here, he can basically defend this fort for free, which is something that Leoric can't do.
My brain auto-completed some sentences for you. Oh, there's Juggerop. Goes ahead and catches and run in a lot of trouble. Does move in.
Rush gets nice pull there on the from Nyx. Leoric scouting out the rest of the team here.
Takes a little bit of damage, but not very much. Let's move back into the relative safety of the bottom lane. And it does look like we've got all middle ways going and pick up their camp. Moving on Your Majesty, saying, hey, give that back. We like that point.
I don't foresee Your Majesty... Oh, this is a very early trait usage here.
Yeah, that's a little scary, to be honest.
I think we might see Ragnaros die out as soon as he pops out of here, but it does look like ARAM is backing off here.
Yeah, they must... I think it's because Leoric called that everyone kind of like disappeared, or almost everyone disappeared from the bottom lane. So they said, okay, we don't want to engage into the Ragnaros with the possibility of being cut off from behind. And yes, here is Rano from the other side.
Garrosh capping the point, stepping up into this team 4v3, and without any ranged... very interesting decision there. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the play. I think I probably would have just hung out in that bush there and delayed them from retaking rather than trying to make a big move.
I will point out that I was talking about this. Actually, I don't know if I said it out loud, but this is kind of what Braxis is supposed to be. If you guys are playing Braxis and you're just A-ramming at bottom the whole time and making it like a 2-lane map where the lanes don't intersect, watch these teams, watch what happens at a competition level where you've just constantly got movement between the 2 lanes. Think of it almost like Tomb of the Spider Queen, except with no middle lane, because you'll just constantly have people going back and forth and back and forth. I'm going to sell people on this map. You will not stop me.
But why play Braxis when you can play Warhead? The other StarCraft map.
I mean,
The superior StarCraft map, it has a tunnel in it.
I mean, to be fair, I actually don't hate Warhead, mainly because Mirahan is from there, and I love Mirahan. She's my favorite Heroes of the Storm character, even though you can't play as her. Legit, if any of you have ever been to my channel, like all my raid messages and everything is Mirahan saying stuff.
Rono stepping up, soaking a bunch of damage as the Mephisto just Turkin getting a ton of damage into this siege wall. Juggerop stepping up, Muffin Man following as well. Not able to quite catch anyone out. They don't have that Li Ming reset that they have this game, so they don't really... So getting a kill is nice, but it's not going to be their win condition to these team fights, per se.
We are up to 34% channeled in terms of LTK Skyfall, but now we've got the channel building for All Random, All Metal Age. They do control both top and bottom. Alright, take it up to 32, so about the same number of Zerg have been released into the pins. But this is a non-stop game. Like, everyone's just constantly about to push into one another.
I'm a little surprised to see that talent pick, this slow burn picked up by Ragnaros into a Leoric. Usually you'd see someone picking the health regeneration talent instead for globes. Give yourself a little bit more sustain into one of the more sustainy bruisers. Slows aren't really Leoric's biggest problem because he just slows you down in return. A big toss onto Barber, and it looks like Barber might be going down, and he does.
A little bit of a Battle of the War Chief happened, and this time, unlike in the actual lore, Thrall lost.
Ooh, very good artillery snipe there by Skyflare.
Scarface, I heard it. Oh, there we go ahead and Juggerop. Juggerop's pushed in. A little bit of a vengeance for, actually, no. I don't know why. For some reason with that throw, I was thinking that was Garage.
Not quite.
Nope, whole different Warcraft tank. I think a lot of lore references. I hope it's not too intolerable. Oh,
Very even fight down bot.
But not so much top.
Yeah.
We are up 4 kills to 1 in favor of LTK Skyfall, and they look like they're poised to go ahead and get the first real structure of this game. Sorry, towers, you don't count.
See these little like tap repeaters swap into phase bomb, get the big hit finisher from Phoenix. That's why I'm a big fan of Arsenal Synergy if you're going to be playing like this, and I'm kind of surprised that Skyflare isn't going that talent, because it seems like it's just naturally a lineup with the way he's playing this hero.
Yep, we do go and have the full rotation. All 5 fingers to a fist came down here, and they are punching down this bottom fort right now, and there it goes. Like, LTK Skyfall was like, the last game was a little bit scary. We just barely won it. Let's not just barely win this one, because they are, like, hunting it down. Here comes the Zerg wave. It's going to be 100%, 33% coming through the top. There is the Ragnaros going ahead and coring up in order to really, really blunt this attack.
That's interesting. Sulfurous Smash being picked by the Rag.
I was surprised to see that as well.
And a Consume Souls from the Mephisto.
Still, of course, do have the Mean Beam. Going and zoning out All Random, All Middle Age.
Anduin still has not picked a talent yet. Garrosh getting very low. And looks like Mephisto dove in just a little too late there. Takes a bunch of damage. Phoenix. Oh my gosh, Phoenix barely gets out. Great root from Nyx, stopping the advance.
So I guess here's the question. We're looking at Salvation. They've got an interrupt on Muradin. Rhaegar doesn't really have one. Leoric doesn't have one. Thrall, I think they may be waiting to see if...
Thunder gets picked up.
Yep.
I'd imagine Sunder is probably the deciding factor here for
Because Rhaegar also
Anduin
has
here.
one. And we do have Earthquake coming out. So if that's right, we should see Anduin going for Salvation in just a second. But we'll find out. He may have forgotten he hasn't picked it yet. And
There's the Salvation. No Haymaker, no Sunder. So fairly safe game if Raynor Q has already come out, or if Raynor's just out of position or too far away to get a good interrupt on. That's pretty much a free salvation, especially if Garrosh is going to go ahead and babysit it.
Alright, there is Juggernaut. Juggernaut goes down and hops to safety. There is a big old... There is Barber goes ahead and drops the... Earthquake is dropped in order to stop the approach. Everyone goes in. Phoenix just gone ahead and
throws the
forward.
Phoenix. Big laser. Sulfurous Smash hits a wall. And we see all 5 members of LTK in the lane that already is missing a keep, which is a little bit unusual.
Yeah, pushing down, then realizing, wait, what are we pushing towards?
It looks like you're pushing towards that mid wall. Great Consume Souls action there.
Alright, it looks like they will make the call for boss. They say, okay, Thrall is down for 15 seconds. Let's pick this up real quick. Leoric is busy in the top lane trying to hold this back.
They've got a camp in each lane, they've got Kata pressure, and they've got a kill. This is pretty much the safest boss you could ever hope for here. Let's see where they go next. They are eyeing up this camp. Phoenix warps in for that extra attack speed.
Alright, get thrown into the Leoric. Leoric, it does get taunted, it's caught in the area. There is a salvation coming through.
Salvation. And Garrosh is right back up to almost full HP.
You do have the camp being picked up by LTK-Skyfall, and it does look like Juggernaut is moving back. Oh, actually catches the Mephisto mid-teleport.
And it looks like LTK is just going to go for these beacons, get as much channel as they can. There's a Phoenix in the bot lane, which is a little unusual. But I guess if you're going to get Kata pressure, that is a thing. I think I'd just leave it myself. A lot of damage going out. Huge laser comes out, manages to get the Leoric. When you're in ghost form, your body is still susceptible to damage, and Thrall goes down as well. This looks like it could probably, almost certainly be game over here. They've still got a healthy boss. They've got Katas in the bot lane, a third Kata coming up on bot lane, as well as the Zerg pen filling up to the brim on the top lane, and they've got Rag using trait on an enemy keep just to finish it off.
Yep, there's a big old hit onto, and Raynor goes down. Raynor actually loses on the StarCraft map. How embarrassing is that?
Unfortunate.
So game number 2, much more decisive than game number 1, is LTK Skyfall one more time. They're going to try and close it out next game. We'll have to see if they can. But before we like move into that, let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. So, as we have the game being finished off, we do have Mephisto leading the way in damage, doing 37,000 damage over the course of the game, 30,000 from Ragros, and then Raynor does come in from the other side with 26. In terms of healing, we do have Anduin coming in with 48,000 in healing, and that ever-important soak, Leoric actually out-soaking the Ragros, but then Ragros did go for Sulfurous Smash, not Lava Wave, so that's not as surprising as I may have thought it was for a second.
They were also doing a very, he was also playing into a very unusual soaking situation. It's a little harder to soak into 4-man like that as Rag, as opposed to Leo, who can just kind of walk up, swipe, and leave fairly safely.
So, looking at the talents, this is one of the least complete talent screens I've seen in recent memory.
Yeah, it's definitely a quick Braxis game. Not the fastest I've seen, but it's definitely up there. And it looks like I'm just like frozen with a weird face on the stream. Oh, I
gosh,
love it.
Dang it.
Yeah, I think the unusual suspects for talents here are Rolling Thunder from the Thrall, as well as, once again, just the advanced targeting from the Phoenix. Just a little odd seeing the Plasma Cutter with none of the other Plasma Cutter talents being taken.
Yep, fairly normal. Neopez is kind of interesting coming out of the Leoric. Though I guess, obviously on this map, he did go out and actually help get the mercenary camps a little bit. Merton going with third win, trying to stay in there a little bit longer.
Also does help with your clear quite a bit, which ARAM's clear is not super great here. So getting that extra bonus damage from Leoric to kind of capitalize on the Raynor, who usually does the siege, but went for Raynor's Raider this game instead of maybe Hyperion, allows them to deal with those Zerg waves a little bit easier.
Very, very much so. But with that, I do think that the Salvation was a great call from Nyx. We definitely saw it get. It didn't get to be used very long, but it definitely really, really turned that fight around. And waiting to see if there would be 2 more ults as interrupts coming out, and when we saw that neither of them like locked in, very, very, very heads up play there.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of waiting on picking talents, but that was, if you're going to wait to pick a talent, waiting to pick Salvation until the enemy team chooses not to pick 2 interrupts into Salvation for their ults is probably the one time you want to delay like that.
Yeah, definitely agree with that one. So, with that said, we will be back for a game, because they're already yelling at me for not being in the game. So, I will see you guys in just a second.
Some wonderful Planet Cracker discussions in the chat there.
So, looking at, we are here in Cursed Hollow. I'm noticing something. Was Altrak banned? I feel like Altrak was banned. Let me check real quick. Yep. If you look, Altrak was banned, and so we went to Battlefield of Eternity, then Braxis, and now Cursed. If we go to Game 4, I bet it'll be on Dragonshire. I'm noticing a pattern.
Well, you know, playing in alphabetical order is a strategy.
It kind of reminds me when you're playing Battleship and you just like start up in the corner and just go in diagonal lines.
Just keep going. So, what are you looking for drafting changes here for Game 3? Because it's kind of on ARAM to kind of make some changes here to kind of fix what's been going on.
Well, if it's on them to make some changes here, they're not doing it so far. It's continuing to ban out the Varian to take the training wheels comp out. You already said it, I'm totally stealing your answer, but based on the last two games, I would either take or get rid of the Mephisto. Mephisto has been so critical and just doing so much damage. It's terrifying. I also do agree with you that the Malthael was very pivotal in game number 1, but then game number 2, they just had such a good strategy. Unless they've got something specific to this map planned, I'm a little worried.
There's that Mephisto ban.
Have fun with Kel'Thuzad. We're now more afraid of the other Bone Mage.
Yes, the other Bone Mage, who is clearly just the same hero in a Christmas skin. Because holiday events forever.
Clearly.
Garrosh first pick. LTK just loves that Garrosh.
Ramo's like, I only learned this one hero. I actually almost wonder if, I don't think this is really the truth for Rano, but I wonder if there are people that are one tricks, and so the way they play is they just find and group with people who have even scarier one tricks, so that way theirs doesn't get banned.
The hunt is on.
I think you're talking about Masters divisions.
We do go and have Greyman and Lunara. I think it's funny that Barber is picking up the Lunara now, because Lunara is always getting banned in the second ban phase. So just like, no, I want to play this hero. No Li Ming this time, no mage. Just like, I want Poison Mage, and not Zul, the other one.
So Ragnaros being picked up by Your Majesty again does leave it open for Poppin' Fresh to pick pretty much whatever he wants here, I think. No Malthael to make him have a bad day on Blaze. So maybe they recoup that team comp from game 1, but just a little bit tweak. Ooh, they're going to go ahead and ban out the Phoenix as well.
Yep, taking away a lot of the like powerful characters that they've had a hard time running to. Because we definitely saw those artillery shots from Phoenix secured a lot of kills that I thought were out of range. Alright, there's the ban onto the Rhaegar. Neither tank nor healer. They actually started with both their DPS being picked up. Ironically enough, looking like they're preparing to race Battlefield.
I mean, fairly neutral so far. Dahaka being picked up, a great pick for the map.
I love the Dahaka and the Lucio pick. There are a lot of the critical finishers have been lock a person down and then get them out. So high five is going to be critical in undoing that.
Asmodan being picked up by Torquin, and we're waiting for that last pick from Skyflare. What's their last ranged assassin going to be? It's going to be Zul'jin.
Zul'jin with, I guess, the Ember hair. I don't know what that is. It's weird. It looks like crystalline.
I believe it is. And Anubarak being picked up by Juggerob. So, looks like LTK is playing a very late game comp. Ragnaros is pretty handy for ensuring that you get at least to the end game, because if you take Lava Wave, it's kind of hard for you to lose pre-20. Not impossible, just hard.
Very, very much so, because they didn't take Lava Wave last time, but then they also didn't lose pre-20. They just won at 12, 13.
Yeah, well, if you win in 11 minutes on Braxis, I guess you don't really want to extend the game with Lava Wave. Oh, did I win a bunch of points last game? Sweet.
Yeah, not many people actually supported LTK, so whoever did cleaned up. It was something like 92% were betting on all random.
Well, I will go ahead and just throw some points willy-nilly and get the points going.
I cannot bet because I'm the one who resolves the bets, and you're not allowed to resolve the bet if you actually have points in there. That'd be a little bit uncool. But LTK-Skyfall coming into game number 3, trying to go ahead and get this a clean sweep finish in order to finish the season as the grand champions of Division D. We do have Torquin playing the Asmodan, Rano being rocking out on Garrosh real quick. We do have Skyflare on the Ember Zul'jin. We do have Your Majesty once again on to the Ragnaros, and Nyx coming in on Anduin.
Over on the right side of the map, in the red trunks, we've got Juggerab on Anubarak, Muffin Man on Lucio, Modus Trollin on Greymane, Poppin' Fresh on Dahaka, and Barber on Lunara, representing all random, all middle-aged. And it looks like they are making a play top. They're just going to go ahead and try and siege down this top wall once again. It's been kind of their flavor of the night. Greymane taking a lot of shots there.
Yeah, I'm a little confused as to... Oh, Juggerab takes a huge bit of damage. Did not have Burrow, apparently. Must have actually...
No, kind of an interesting an interesting way of doing that. Usually you leave the Anubarak on the wall, spamming Carapace in order to drop beetles, because the beetles will take tower shots first. Sending Anubarak away and then having Anubarak burrow kind of leaves him in no man's land with a team that's too weak to follow up.
It was also very weird that they focused the bottom tower instead of the top one. Usually I see teams come all the way up across the top in order to not be within range of both towers. But here they go again. They're like, hey, they went down to deal with Dahaka, and guess who's still in the top lane?
We are.
Here comes Asmodan. Asmodan, like, moved away for a second. I was like, wait, crap! It's one of those things when you work as a security guard and you're like, I'm gonna so get fired. They left me to watch this.
Yeah, unfortunately, de-sieging is not what you want to be doing as Asmodan early game when you're trying to get those critical stacks where every minion killed, every hero hit with your Q is going to get you that much closer to your quest completion on level 1. Speaking of level 1, this is an unusual pick. We have Wrath being picked by Asmodan. So after 200 stacks of Annihilation, you get the next auto attack against a hero who has been hit by Globe of Annihilation will do bonus damage equal to 85% of the amount of Annihilation you have obtained.
Interesting, kind of the auto attack build. Another random thing that I just found out. Oh, it's probably not true anymore. No. The minions, as of right now, have 666 health. And now it's not true anymore. Cogsarna. It must go by time. But right when I said that, I clicked on some of them. I'd never seen that before. I'm like, I wonder if that gives Asmodan extra power. Because clearly that makes sense.
No, that's only when his globes do 666 damage.
Oh, gotcha. Tarquin moving in with Siege Giants is being harassed by Barber. Does go ahead and drop a globe, but Barber wisely steps out of the way.
Working fairly low here as Aram moves in to kind of look for that pick. Is going to go ahead and recall here. Oh, cancels the recall. He's got enough health, he's got enough mana to keep fighting over this point apparently. As LTK has a fairly healthy camp pushing up on the mid wave. Dahaka is going to have to go deal with that while Ragnaros clears up the bottom.
Yeah, obviously
LTK
Dahaka
looking
does...
like they've
never mind.
picked up the objective.
I was like, obviously Dahaka does have the advantage that they can burrow in at any point, whereas Riders cannot get up here that quickly. But it ends up being a moot point because they just pick up the tribute. They are 2 away from having the Raven Lord's Curse on the side of Skyfall. I do want to say I'm a bit disappointed. We are in game number 3, and we have not seen Deathwing one time because he actually has the Skyfall talent.
Yeah, it's a bit of a disappointment, huh?
I consider it false advertising. I want my money back.
Chuckarov stepping in, really looking to eat that throw. Burrows in, and this is the danger zone. Once you've burrowed, you're no longer safe into that garage.
It's kind of what we were talking about with the being able to bait out the leaps on the Murden. It's kind of the same idea. As soon as you actually commit your burrow, then throwing becomes a lot more dangerous for you. And it looks like the second tribute is picked up by Skyflare. We are only 1 tribute away from the Raven Lord's Cuss. So we have the rotation coming down. Greymane is going down trying to carry this, but needs to be careful. There's a lot of blue bodies coming down in that direction. So they are going to go ahead and just boss instead of actually trying for a collapse.
They do snipe the Wisp before it reaches in, but I think they've gotten enough context clues to figure out that they're doing boss.
Yeah, whenever you send your Wisp towards boss and there's enough people there to stop it on its way, you're like, okay, there's a lot of people in that area of the map for some reason.
LTK grabs their boss. The last tribute is spawning here on their side of the map, which is quite favorable to them right now. They've got 2 out of 3. So if they grab this last one, they're going to have boss and objective up at the same time, while the enemy's boss probably won't get too much value with not a lot behind it, and a Ragnaros in the lane defending.
Now here's the thing, Ragnaros is in lane, as is Asmodan, which does give an advantage to all random if they want to move in, but that means they're not doing anything about that boss.
Garrosh gets tongued and then cocooned. Anduin light bombs themselves. Huge amount of damage mitigated, but it's not quite enough. The dingo comes out, and the troll is throwing axes.
Yep, we do go and have a 3-for-2 in favor of all middle age. They're going in. They want Torkin. The boss has already gotten through their fort. They need to make value here, and they're going to have it. Goodbye, Demon.
Yeah, LTK losing this objective, but they are getting a lot of siege. Asmodan able to take that bottom fort pretty cleanly. The boss pushing up, getting a bunch of structure damage down here, and now there's 2-3 waves just chipping away at this bottom wall.
Hello, Crush. Hopefully your finals went very well. We are in game number 3 right now. LTK-Skyfall trying to go ahead and finish this out cleanly. We'll have to find out if they can do so. They did just lose the 3rd tribute fight against all middle age. Went 2-for-4 against them.
All right, this is the combo of talents I like to see on Asmodan. Bombardment plus Battleborn. A big stun goes onto the Garrosh there, and Anoob's just going to go ahead and back away. Lava Wave going through the mid. Doesn't do that much into that camp due to the magic armor.
Oh, Barber having a hard time kind of getting locked out of that area. Big fight over where the tribute's about to spawn, but right now Ragnaros is Barber has to go around the long way in order to get into a position to be helpful. However, this does mean that Barber's going to get there first. I don't know if that'll matter. Skyflare taking a lot of damage, does go ahead and have to pop Taz Dingo. Light Bomb comes down. There's
Garrosh in the thick of it, just whirly-gigging with that Decimate.
Yep, Decimate taking
over
one more
and
time,
over.
just like in game number 1. Do go and have a lot of damage, but there are 5 members of LTK here. But here comes Greymane going in, trying to make that less. But Nubrak is the one to go down. Rano having run out down to 400. And we got 3 for
and it
none.
looks like LTK able to pick up this objective here. Very clean defense of the tribute there.
Yet that is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man team wipe. Dahaka is back up, but now suddenly they've got to defend in all 3 lanes. They do thankfully have a camp in bottom lane that's going to help kind of slow down this push, but Ragnaros and Asmodean are already moving into mid. Meanwhile, the top 4 has gone down. Toronto, Skyflare, and Nyx.
Asmodean throwing a demon over the wall almost goes down for that. I think you just want to auto attack and get a general in that bot lane to start soaking.
Blue team has destroyed a fort.
Zul'jin very low in this top. Juggernaut goes in. Stun comes out on Rano. Light Bomb comes out. Big shield coming out of that. Cocoon on the end win. And it looks like LTK is able to step away without losing anyone there.
So level 13
Still
is
hanging
picked
around.
up by all middle age, so they are even talent tiers for the time being, though their opponents are about 2 levels up on them, so they will be hitting 16 before too terribly long.
Lava Wave coming in on the top lane.
Let the curse end.
Just right when the curse ends, takes away the wave anyways.
That is the sad thing about Lava Wave. You feel so bad Lava Waving during Curse because your guys died in 1 hit anyway, so it almost doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter.
I mean, it guarantees you that XP. Nothing missed.
Nothing ventured, nothing gains. We do go and have the counter kill on one of the forts, evening up the catapult pressure along the top lane at least. Muffin Man leading the charge, coming down here. Dahaka is trying to save soak down here. A little bit extended, but should be okay. However, it does look like boss is going to be picked up by LTK-Skyfall. Probably guessed by their opponents, but they do not know.
They're in position the second it spawns, which is right where they need to be. If they take this boss, they can either push with it and see what they can grab, or they can go invade the enemy boss.
And it definitely looks like the
Because
second
even
option.
if they don't invade successfully, they will prevent this team from responding to that boss bot lane.
So enemy team was not at boss right now.
Zul'jin's leading the scouting is a little spooky there into an Anubrak, but it does look like they're going for the 2 boss play here. They are up level 16 talent tiers. They've got the pressure on the map, and they're going to go ahead and use that power spike.
So there's the boss coming through, going to be coming down top lane. That does mean that the bottom lane boss gets minimal value because it's getting cleared for free. No one's supporting it, but I have a feeling that's not going to be the case here. They're just going to run around and be like, oh, we want all the mercenary camps. We're going to paint this map blue.
Well, when you're up on that 16 talent tier, you've got that big power spike. You want to get as much value as you can. And if the enemy team is turtling up and not giving you opportunities to pick fights with them, you just go ahead and paint the map blue. Take everything that's on their side too.
You go and have a lot of damage coming out. They are cleaning up this spell power. Majesty is right there in the bush. They're waiting to see if they go in. But Majesty does not have Sulfurous Smash, so doesn't quite have the very, very hard engage he might want. However, Juggernaut is here by himself in the middle, cannot hold this back.
Lava Wave coming in down the center line. Just trying to give them enough space here. Garrosh into Cocoon. Majesty taking a ton of damage. The wave comes in, burns a lot of that team. Dingo goes out. Pull on the Asmodean. And the mid keep goes down. Garrosh doing a little spin to win. Huge light bomb once again. 3 targets hit. Big shield. Tongue goes out, pulls the Asmodean, and Asmodean's going to go down.
I do particularly like the lava or the burrow to get underneath the lava wave. Like, lava is underground too. Like, logically that shouldn't work, but obviously it does. Here's another possible looking for Rano. Rano does go inside stuff, but there's the throw into the Haka.
Throw.
Here's poor Anduin. Anduin trying to defend against the world right now. There is almost 30 seconds until most of the team is back up, so there's an opportunity here to go in and try and even out the map a little bit. But it's going to be a hard time because the keep is down in the middle, and that's a long way to push.
They do have Greymane, who has a lot of push, and Anubrak can spawn beetles to soak up the damage even without a wave, but Ragnaros is up, just hops into the keep here, giving a little bit of space. Maybe a little prematurely since the wall is still up, but, you know, getting that value.
Yep, we do go. We're at 10 seconds away from Garage.
Ragnarok taking a ton of damage.
This should be a disengagement happening from all random, all middle age right now. Majesty's moving forward, and yeah, it does look like they will go and get out of there. Dahaka is down south, trying to get up a lot of this experience, pushing in. Looks like he will go in and hearth back. Does not see the enemy team.
I grow tired of your petty squabbling. Gather trouble, earn my favor.
This could be a potentially cursed point for all random, all middle age.
I'm throwing a yellow card on this Asmodan build now. I liked it before, I don't like it now. I see Hell Rift at 16 without the laser talent at level 7. Unfortunately, with the rework that allows your laser to act like living bomb where it gets the reset value if it kills a target or gets a full channel, that does not work on that 16 if you do not have those prerequisite laser talents.
Oh, interesting.
So Bombardment, Battleborn, plus Hell Rift does give you, in theory, on paper, the maximum amount of demons, the most often, and empowers them. But in practice, it's very hard to pull off, especially into a team that has a lot of stuns and displacement to interrupt that laser.
Now, here's the problem. Right now, we do go ahead and have Skyfall pushing in towards the Nexus itself. Very, very effective, and they are up 20s. Their opponents are still about a third of a level away from level 20 and being able to fight on even footing. They're trying to stay back. They're trying to soak safely. They're trying to get that like residual periodic experience. They do not want to fight right now. But there's the throw from Garage. Muffin Man taking a lot of damage. Lucio desperately trying to get out. Does go ahead and get back. There's the light bomb coming out.
In.
Catches the Anub.
Only catches the Anub. Garrosh now tongued in. Anduin's stuck in the cocoon. And out comes the Divine Stars, healing up that team super well. Your Majesty is super low, but it's going to be Dahaka that goes down first. Zildjian looking to clean up a little bit here.
They still don't have 20 yet. They would have Majesty had gone down, but there it is. 20 is ticked away, but it is 4 versus 5, so that's still not a fight that ARAM wants to be involved in.
And this looks like it might be another curse for the side of LTK.
Indeed, indeed, indeed does. However, Rano dives in, taking a lot of damage. Does go in and get healed up by the Anduin at the last second. Big bit damage. We do have Greyman going down. That might be it. Curse and 5 versus 3. We've got a camp pushing right in onto the core, and...
Yep, looks like Ragnaros is taking that trade again. We've got multiple catapults in the bot lane. Huge wave stepping in. Rano getting very low, the light bomb comes out, stuns the Anubrak once again. That Decimate just getting tons of value. Look at all those resets.
And with that, we do have LTK-Skyfall managed to win game number 3, taking the entire series with a domination. Let me go ahead and see if we can get an interview right quick. While we're doing that, though, is there anything... I know you've kind of been talking about the whole time. Anything jumping out at you about talents?
Nothing stands out too much that I haven't pointed out already at some point. Desperate Prayer is always a very, very aggressive talent to take into so much stun and punishment on skill shots. Into Tongue and Anubrak, it can open you up for a lot of counterplay once you start taking a knee and praying.
All right.
However, Nyx was able to keep themselves out of the line of fire and get a lot of value out of that in these team fights.
Let's jump over to lobby 2 real quick so they can find us.
All right.
All right, we'll have to see if anyone comes in and joins us in just a second. Let me go ahead and plop this back off. Boop. All right, looking at the stats while we wait to see if anyone wants to come and be our friend. I'm sure someone will. We do go ahead and have, in terms of damage, Lunara Barber does lead the way. Oh, it looks like a lot of the team is coming in. I don't know about the whole team. Hello, hello.
Good evening.
How is everyone?
just taking a sigh of relief at this point.
Congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
It's a team effort.
very, very, very well played couple of games. Game number 1 was very, very scary. Game number 2, it really seemed like you were upset that game 1 was very scary. And the game number 3 was a little scary again.
I think the analogy I like to use, and what I told the team prior to the match starting, I said this at the last interview we had. It's like a tiger backed into a corner, and then you poke that tiger with angry spears, and now it's even angrier. So they were definitely adapting different strategies to try and counter what we had, and the call-outs were clutch in order to make us accommodate them appropriately.
Well, you certainly did. I do have to ask, just because the way it was going, game number 1 was on Battlefield, game number 2 was on Praxis, game number 3 was on Cursed. If we'd gone to a game 4 and you had map pick, would we have gone to Dragonshire? Because that certainly seemed to be how we were going.
I was definitely under the impression that they would prefer the long games, but they had an incredibly good short game, so I wouldn't have been surprised if we'd played another map that had lanes that were tighter together. So yeah, I if they had gone Dragonshire, I probably would have been more careful than I was on Cursed Hollow, because there's a lot of places to ambush from and different directions to do it from. So I feel like Cursed Hollow is a very linear map.
Well, definitely. That is why it's, in some ways, the default map for Here's the Storm, because you have to play it, I think, 5 times before the other maps unlock.
It's a great map to teach principles, and I feel like when we focus on those principles, it becomes an easier game overall.
So, going back to game number 1, that was, of course, the game on Battlefield. It looked like your team had the plan of having the Durants in order to hold everyone in one place and then the Phoenix beam to come through. But it kept kind of feeling like the Phoenix would see an opportunity and use the beam a little bit early. Was there just what was causing that little bit of a disjointment?
Our ultimates were not lined up, and I know that even though... actually, Torquin, do you want to comment on it?
Some of it was the cooldowns, yeah. Somewhere we ended up getting off sync on the cooldowns, and we could have waited, but worthwhile opportunities showed up to go ahead and use those cooldowns, even though we weren't in sync.
Precisely put.
Fantastic. That's kind of what it looked like, but it was also just sort of strange because at one point, Jackie had to correct me because I was like, "Yeah, it's a weird pick on that beam because I don't really have anything to lock it down." And Jackie's like, "Well, they've got Durance." And I'm like, "Oh yeah."
The good old Duran.
I think we had 1 or 2 moments where the two connected, but I don't recall us getting a full kill out of it. They were very effective at saving their teammates.
Those Ancestrals were very good. They were on point. I would say the last one that was cast on map 1 was early when Muradin jumped back, but the others denied everything we were trying to accomplish. So definitely made me feel like I was throwing my ult into a box of cotton candy.
Well, it was very, very interesting because you'd have this big protracted fight, and then with the you would have a really good engage, but then they would have Ancestral, and then you guys would split back apart, and I'm like, okay, well, nothing happened.
Yeah, it seemed as though they were when that would occur, both teams had to make an assessment on, if ults have been used and we engage at this point, both teams, I felt like they were front to back really smart about how engages should happen. The ARAM was really on point with that, and I didn't see myself or the rest of us getting value fighting into their composition. There's a map to play, and it felt like once the ults were used, we're like, all right, well, whatever element of surprise or crowd control that we could accomplish in a long game is gone, and their short game is strong. So,
all right, Jackie, do you have any questions about game number 1?
I gotta ask this. So I really liked your Phoenix play. Why the skip on Arsenal synergy? Because I saw you in both game 1 and game 2. You'd basically you'd rip 3 or 4 shots from your phase repeater, and then rip just this massive snipe and pick up a kill with the phase bomb. And I was just like, if they had Arsenal synergy, that probably would have been a triple kill.
So what I find to be, so I used to go Arsenal Synergy as my top talent, but then what I discovered is that when you take advanced targeting, the damage is a bit more, I guess, how do I put this? Insidious. In other words, your base attack damage is increased, which compounded with your attack speed makes it so that they cannot really anticipate how much damage you're going to put out. They just see Phoenix walking up on you. And the extra spin from the Q gives me extra move speed from the 4 talent. So if I'm trying to run away and I press the Q button and it hits someone, I get a little boost of speed to get away faster. With an extra rotation, it's a bit safer, and it's also a little bit more damage on the engages. So I had to weigh my choices, and I felt like some compositions like to team fight more, but again, the even though the phase bomb is really hard to avoid because it splashes in an area, the front line wasn't necessarily disengaging into their friendlies. They might split off in another direction so that the damage would step up. And so where I want to put that damage is not going to be as effective as when I warp in. I wanted my warp in, because I went warp build, to be effective, and it was more important that if I was going to warp to try and get a kill, that did more damage. That's why I didn't think Arsenal Synergy is good for, like, in my opinion, wave clear, attrition, and team fighting, but Phoenix shines in the duelist position.
Awesome. I love that answer.
All right, moving on to game
Thanks.
number 2. Game number 2 was on Brax's Holdout, and you guys definitely seemed to come in. It's kind of strange in that your draft was very, very similar, but your playstyle was much, much more aggressive, and you seemed to have a definite plan. You guys started off just completely reversing the map and all going top, contrary to what normally happens. What was kind of the thought process going into that map? Actually, no, they went top. Never mind.
I'll let you take that one, Nix, or Rana.
Right, Ron, go ahead.
Basically, from my point of view, they were basically trying to avoid the team fights and just having us be starved of the general team fights that we usually take advantage of in the very beginning to try to stack up an early advantage. So by going top lane, they were basically forcing us to play a ring around Rosie and going, okay, we can either try to race some, or we have to waste time getting all the way over to them and chasing them down. It was pretty effective for like the first couple minutes. Like nobody was really ever getting an objective. People were just kind of running around trying to find each other. And eventually we were able to nail the actual team fight and get the ball rolling to get the advantage.
Yeah, I think if I was going to put it succinctly to summarize what Rano suggested, we had to react to what they were doing, and usually we don't bother reacting. We just do what we'd like, and we try to make the enemy team play around us. But for the first half of that game, where their team fight potential, I guess is I don't know what the proper terminology is, but their ability to team fight and their ability to siege was a rival to our own, and it was more important that we answer them than it was for us to try and push down the bottom lane, because of Leoric's ability to mitigate damage through Drain Hope and his ability to go unstoppable. He could keep us at a distance and prevent us from accomplishing as much as if we were trying to punish the top. And now that I speak about it, I remember they were taking tower shots, and I saw that they were low health enough that they would have to peel, and that puts one of their tanks out of position. I thought that since they went in so hard, there was something they traded to do damage on our structures, and we had to at least see if we could leverage an advantage of our own from their aggression.
All right. Makes a lot of sense. How do you guys determine in general when to rotate on that map, and because there were definitely times where I would actually see all 5 of you go to one lane in order to knock out a gank, which is not something I usually see. Usually I see at most 4. You always leave someone in both lanes to get experience, but you guys were incredibly fluid in the way you approach the map.
Majesty, I think you should take that one.
You just kind of go where you need to go, I guess. I kind of forgot what we're talking, like the exact moments, but yeah, just sometimes the lens are just pushed out and you don't really need to soak, or your head on soak, or just like by getting a gank or something, you could get an advantage. So just sometimes you have to give up a little soak to get a gank, which will kind of snowball an advantage for you, which will end up giving you more soak than you lost.
All right.
That's it. I think that's it. We prioritize.
So, did you have any questions about game number 2, Jackie?
Let's see. Yes, that was the one where we had the super long wait on the Anduin pick, right? On the Anduin 10?
It was, yes.
So, Nyx, what was your thought process for that?
By my standards, it's not really a long wait. I've gone to 16 before without picking my ultimate.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I've had a staring match with a Kilthos before.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was just hesitating. I wanted to just triple check that they didn't have enough CC to reliably stop Salvation, so I ended up picking that instead of Light Bomb.
Well, we saw it get a lot of value that game. So was it basically if you see Haymaker plus what else was there? Sunder, that you swapped over to Light Bomb? Was that the general formula?
Yeah, there was also the potential of Silence Entomb, but the game didn't get to 20, so that was no longer an issue.
Well, I would hope you wouldn't wait to pick your level 10 until level 20. It would definitely have made for a very memorable game.
I do remember at one point.
Don't put it past her.
I was going to say,
Give her ideas.
I've definitely actually seen a game got reported for griefing in NGS because one player didn't pick their level 10 until level 14, and the rest of the team was really, really mad about it, and I was like, that's not griefing.
No, that's strange.
It was
How
an
bizarre.
interesting investigation. I won't name who it was, obviously. Moving on to this most recent game. So, this most recent game, you definitely had a little bit more fluid, but the moment where you guys actually got a lot of value, you pushed down middle keep, and then they ended up re-engaging 2 levels down and killed off 2 of you. Did you guys have any inkling of doubt? Actually, I think they killed off 4 and were able to just start running the map and start equalizing it. Was there an inkling of doubt at that point, or were you just like, no, it's okay, we're just going to come back and we've still got this?
I got greedy. What do you guys think?
I think.
I'm pretty sure I was telling Paul to go. I was like, let's go, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, Madge definitely said we should leave, and I had axes in my eyes. Was that what you're referring to? Is in Cursed Hollow, or is this?
Yep. It was.
Yeah, I remember that moment pretty clearly, where I was like, I'm not really being effective here. We've acquired the tribute, and now I'm just hanging out. But man, when I see a chance to get stacks, I just lose all reason and logic.
So what I'm hearing is that you had axes in your eyes, and then a couple seconds later you had X's in your eyes?
That's accurate. That's an accurate statement. I definitely, even though I knew when to fold them, I didn't cash out when the going was good.
Well, we were both stacking, so there was that.
Yeah, we were playing for the late game, and I was like, all right, well, if we die here, what value can they acquire as a result? A fort. It'd be hard pressed to catch or keep when we have the molten core.
Yeah.
Indeed, that's about what happened. I think they got 2 forts and keep wall, and that was about it. Then they had to turn around and go the other way.
Yeah, it's about what we felt as though, even though we overstayed our welcome, it was important to remember that our folly was not going to cost us that much.
And now I know Jackie has a specific talent question because she brought it up during the cast. So, Jackie?
Oh, I'm not going to bring up that question.
Oh,
But I do want to ask Rano, how did it feel to get just reset after reset after reset on Decimate?
Oh, that felt pretty good. Being able to actually, they were just crowding all over me, so I'm just constantly trying to slow them down, blob them up, and letting my AOE's DPS just fly in. And it was actually no scary sometimes, when you're the target of all the aggression.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's a freaking gray main. There's a Lunara. Nara is especially a really pain in the ass for as a Garrosh.
Yeah, but it must have felt a lot better once you got that 20, and all of a sudden, every time you did a little spin dance on them,
Oh
their
yeah,
damage dropped by 40%.
yes. I was definitely looking for that fight because we had 20, they didn't. I'm thinking, okay, we need to get something. I want to leverage this fight. Are we going to back off and let them hit 20, or can we find something? And then Lucio came just a little bit too close, and I was able to toss him in to force everybody, hey, we got to go in. And we basically started a big giant mosh pit in the mid lane there. It was fun.
so then the last.
Rano has been frequently denied his tank of choice, if you will. Not to say that he can't play others, but more to say that I think we have a special place in our heart for Gary, and I'm glad that he got to revel in the experience.
Yeah, wonderful three-peat of Garrosh tonight.
Yeah, this entire offseason, Garrosh has been banned from the get-go. Like, I never got to play Garrosh this entire offseason just because they kept on banning him every single game.
Yeah, the playoffs were definitely a lot of targeted bans against you, which I felt was not fair. We deserve some love too, Rano.
Well, I have to say, all random definitely was like, you know what? Hasn't been able to play Garrosh the whole season. We'll just ban Varian instead.
Oh
Isn't it
yeah,
funny how that works out?
yeah. I guess they saw my Varian games and were like, okay, yeah, this guy plays Varian. Let's ban that guy instead.
It's been so long since you've had the chance to play Gary that it's like fallen out of memory.
Well,
Yeah, game one, I was definitely invested a little bit. I got screwed over mostly because there's a double range assassin with Li Ming and Greymane were ripping my face off in game one.
But being the unapologetic war chief that you are, you soldiered on.
so
But yeah, it was fun.
last question I always end up asking is, can you tell me where the name LTK-Skyfall comes from, even though I already know the answer?
So LTK is a clan that was based around GoldenEye on N64 a long time ago, if any of you can remember, and stands for License to Kill. It's hence a James Bond, originally a James Bond themed clan, and they asked me for, it was a combination of a talent in Heroes of the Storm, one of my favorite movies in the series, and an homage to my name, I suppose, due to the fact that I helped bring this gang together.
All right, makes a lot of sense. I actually I remember playing GoldenEye on the N64. I was not very good at it.
But were the memories fond?
They were, except for there was this one guy that always wanted to play Xenia, and I'm like, how do you get what? Very annoying.
I see this team as when I consider everyone here, it's just love and peace is our message, and it's a pleasure to play with everyone here.
Jackie, did you have any final questions for them?
No, I just wanted to say I loved watching your games, so great job and congratulations again.
So I'll go ahead and turn it over to all of you for any shout outs you want to give, because the floor is yours. You've definitely earned it.
What do you guys and gals think? Shout outs?
I'm going to shout out to Nyx for taking the time to organize all the different games this series.
She is our co-captain
work.
and does all the setups and basically leads from the front. So I'm most grateful to Nyx for always stepping up for that kind of thing. I wanted to shout out All Random, All Middle Aged. Thank you for an amazing set. It was a privilege to play with you. I've never sweat so hard playing a video game. It was definitely an emotional moment, and that was thank you for the honor. And I guess shout out to Zane Hyde for excellent coaching.
All right. Well.
Oh, and the last shout out, I guess, for anyone that wants to better themselves on knowledge, I'd say Cavalier Guest next to Schoolhouse. Learn yourself something. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. There's no one that knows everything there is about this game. And if there is someone, it's not anyone watching the stream right now. I don't think. So there's always more to learn.
Any other shout outs? Anyone? Okay.
All right, well then, I will go ahead and let you guys get to the after party. Congratulations again, fantastic set, fantastic series. We look forward to seeing you back here next season, although based on what you've done, I'm sure it will be in Division C.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Wherever they put us, we'll play.
Fantastic. All right, so...
Thank you for casting. Ace, and shout out to you two. Thank you so much for casting our game.
Oh, absolutely my pleasure. You can't keep me away.
I appreciate you doing that for us.
So, Jackie, real quick, if you want to let everyone know who you are, where they can find you, and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm Jacqueline Hyde. No relation to Zane Hyde, just to throw that out there real quick before anyone asks. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Jacqueline_Hyde. I do stream HOTS every once in a blue moon. I play a lot of roguelikes, and I've captained and played on a bunch of teams in NGS for the past few seasons.
All right, and as for me, I'm Raka. You can find me at twitch.tv/Irakov. You can also find me at Irakov2 over on Twitter. It's on the screen right now. I bet you can find it. I believe in you. Do a lot of casting for Heroes of the Storm, do a lot of playing of other games, and I'm also jumping between a lot of teams. You'll find me next season on Cold Coffee Slammers. So, huzzah, look forward to that. And other than that, I'm going to try and raid over to NGS 2. I don't know if I'm allowed to raid, so if I can't, then you'll see the URL just linked in chat in a second, and click on that.